Hello, everyone, and welcome to your midterm exam FAQ presentation. Within this video, I'm going to briefly but thoroughly help make sense of the midterm exam, what to expect, the do's and don'ts. It's basic housekeeping. I say brief because it's not going to be long, but it will cover enough to answer any potential questions. And what I've done is questions that I've received in the past from previous students, I've incorporated those questions in this presentation. So hopefully I've covered everything. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to email me at nbryant@atlantatech.edu. So let's jump right in. Here are some of the questions that have come up in the past. Of course, I've shared some of these in announcements and emails, but to have this video will help reinforce it. We're going to cover the date, where it's held, the chapters covered, how many questions, if they're in order by chapter, the number of points the exam is worth, the types of questions, how long the exam is, and if there are any other tips that can help you perform well on the exam. Our exam will be in Blackboard. It will open at midnight on June 8th, which is the first day of midterm exams. It closes promptly at 11:59 p.m. on day 3, which is on June 10th. No, you will not be taking it on campus unless you choose to go on campus to use one of the computers or to access the internet connection there. It covers all the chapters that we have read so far. You can see the previously posted announcements for the specific details. There are 50 questions. Some are in order by chapter, some are also random, and the exams reset so that every time a student enters, a new student enters, it resets the questions. There are a total of 100 points. They are true, false, and multiple choice. And the exam is 2 hours in length. Here are some tips that I feel that are very important. Don't spend too much time contemplating an answer. If you think you have the right one, commit to it. When you start changing your answers multiple times, you will usually end up with the wrong answer. If you read the textbook and you took great notes, then you should be ready to study those notes, reference the textbook on any sections that you need more clarification, any topics that were vague or a little over your head at some point, and be sure to ask me any follow-up questions about those chapters before you jump into the midterm exam. And I recommend this strategy for all quizzes and exams, not just the big ones. One thing is making sure that your notes are detailed, but when I said quality, what I mean by this is sometimes people can write verbatim what they're reading in the book, and then you have just pages and pages and pages of basically a replicated textbook. What you need to be able to do is, you've seen some of the questions on the quizzes before, pull out some core concepts and narrow it down, especially things that you know are hot topics. If you see anything that stands out on the page, those are the things that you need to take notes on. Or you could always do an index, knowing that you're covering certain concepts, and your notes can indicate which pages those concepts were on, and any kind of highlighting features that will help you help to remind you of what those concepts and practices and theories mean. A third tip is to limit the amount of distractions that you have around you so you don't lose track of time or you don't throw your testing rhythm off. So making sure that you're not near family and friends, no coworkers, you're away from loud noises, no television, turn off your social media and email notifications, put your phones on Do Not Disturb, silence your ringers, all of the possible things that can distract you. It's the noise that can actually make your testing feel unbearable. As I mentioned earlier about your quality notes, you'll see where I said you can bold and highlight areas in your textbook. Those are those hot topics, and those are things that you should pay close attention to. The author placed great emphasis on those areas, so your exam will oftentimes focus in on those same concepts. Can you save and return to the exam later? What type of time restrictions are there? Can you retake the exam? Can you email me about questions while you're taking the exam? Can you take the exam from a mobile device or tablet? If you don't take the exam, how does it impact your grade in this class? When are midterm grades submitted to the registrar's office? After midterms, will you be able to turn in past due coursework? And if you've missed several weeks of the course, can you still pass the class? Let's go ahead and address those questions now. So, as far as exam restrictions are concerned, no, you cannot save and return to enter the exam later. Once you start the exam, the timer begins, and you can't leave it and come back. It'll block your access. There is a 2-hour time limit, so you need to be able to set aside a 2-hour period of time with no distractions to take the exam. It can't be paused. It can't be restarted. If you finish before the end of the 2 hours, then you can submit the exam for grading. Don't wait until the last 2 hours of the exam period to begin the exam. Don't wait until the last 3 or 4 hours, because you may run out of time or experience technical issues that cause you to run out of time. And you waiting until 9 o'clock on the 10th to take your exam, you're then hoping, wishing, and praying on a star that I am going to be around to check emails or possibly answer my phone. And you may find yourself on the short end of the stick, and when you contact me and you say, oh, Professor Bryant, that it did something and the timer went out, and I still was halfway through, and I'm going to go inside of the system, and it's going to show me when you started the exam and at what point that exam submitted the exam for grading. And then I'll be able to see exactly when you entered. And so when I see that you entered with only 2 hours left in the exam period, that's not acceptable. So I then can't show you any leniency. Now, if you start the exam, on day 1 or day 2 or much earlier in the day on day 3, and you had some kind of technical issues, guess what? I can jump in and save you. I can come in and then reset some things to help you be able to regain access. But no, I will not provide access to the exam if you chose to wait until the last possible moment to start it. No 11th hour saves for you. The next question that I'd like to address is the ability to retake. No, you can't. You take the exam one time and one time only. You cannot email me during the exam about specific exam questions. And no, you cannot use a tablet or mobile device, only a laptop or desktop to take your exam. If you choose not to take the midterm exam, you'll lose 100 points. That could drop your grade by 1 or more grade. So you could drop from an A to a B, or a B to a C, or a C to a D, or a D to an F, or a C to an F. It depends on how your point spreads are. But 100 points, that's a lot. And you can't make up 100 points. I don't do makeup work. This is not elementary school. This is not K through 12. There's no makeup work. So 100 points will be a deficiency of 100 points no matter how you look at it. When the midterm grades are submitted to the registrar's office are 24 hours after the midterm exam is concluded. So after I've confirmed all the grades are accurate, I usually submit them to the registrar's office. I have until the 5th, but I like to get them in sooner. I don't like to waste time. And actually, you have until um, you have until let's see, 10th. Let's see. The 10th is the last day I accept. Um, the 10th is the last day I accept past due work. So by the 11th, I don't know why I said the 5th. By the 11th, I'm submitting grades in because I have until the 12th, which is that Monday, to have them all in. I don't know why I said the 5th. My mind was elsewhere. So 24 hours after midterm grade is usually around the time, since a lot of students get their work completed and turned in by the 10th, I usually then submit grades on that day. At the latest, it will be the 11th. If you've missed several weeks of this class, we're only in week 4 now. So if you've missed the first 3 weeks, please contact me. If you have any other questions that I've not addressed in this presentation, please email me. I wish all of you the best. If you've been doing well on previous quizzes, if you've been reading the textbook, watching the lecture videos, and taking great notes, you should do well on the midterm exam. Take care, everyone.